Have you ever wondered about converting your regular bicycle or mountain bike or road bike into an electric bike? I've got two kits here that are in front of me. One on the left is a e-bike conversion kit that I put on my father's mountain bike, which is a ROCKRIDER from DECATHLON. It's just a standard ROCKRIDER mountain bike. And then on the right, we have a road bike that is from DECATHLON as well, the TRIBAN RC500. I have reviews on both of those bicycles if you're interested, but today we're going to be looking at the two kits and giving my review after riding these kits for over 1,000 kilometers. And actually, if you combine both of these kits, it's over 1,000 miles, which is interesting. So the kit on the left, my father's done 770 kilometers on the mountain bike, and on the right, on my bike, I think I've done 1,100 kilometers so far with this e-bike kit. So I wanted to share with you some of the pros and cons, and obviously some of the things you might need to keep in mind when you're interested in doing this conversion, because on a road bike, for example, it's a lot more steps involved in order to be able to do it, but it is possible. And on the mountain bike, it's generally a lot easier. So I thought I'd just walk you through the things that I've really enjoyed about the kit so far. So here we have the mountain bike from DECATHLON. It's a ROCKRIDER ST520, in case anybody's interested. Standard bike, standard dimensions when you're fitting this. Interestingly, I have a 700C wheel on the back of this bike, and it's paired with this 27.5-inch wheel on the front. And as you can see with the different tire size, it's barely noticeable that one wheel is actually slightly larger than the other. And actually it fits really well in the same dropouts, which is really interesting. So it was actually a fairly simple procedure to do. You got to give yourself like an afternoon to do it. I will leave a video link down below in case you're interested in a step-by-step guide on how to install this. And I have a full video detailing everything about that. I personally have really enjoyed this kit, especially on a mountain bike actually, because it gives this mountain bike the possibility to actually get around at a much more realistic speed. You can carry more weight on it. And for example, we've got some panniers on the back here. These are panniers from, where are they from? They are from Lidl, actually, surprisingly. So you've got two panniers on the back, which are the Krivet brand, and they work really well. They cost like something like, I think they were 15 euros or something like that. It's crazy each. And then we've got the kit here. This is a 13 amp hour battery. Let's talk about the battery life actually, because that is obviously a question that a lot of people have. What's the range like on a bike like this, and how does that compare actually? How does that compare to a road bike? Now, actually the range is fairly similar. I would say I might get like an extra 5 kilometers of range just because the bike is slightly lighter and I've got thinner wheels. I can go a little bit faster, a little bit quicker. These do have slightly more powerful motors on them. So just keep in mind that if you go over the standard speed limits, that you'll have to be doing that off-road. You just got to be streetwise and have a conscious mindset when you're riding around, and then you'll be fine. Personally, I've been fine. So I would say the range, I would say on a mountain bike like this is probably something like, I've tested it, it was something like 55k maybe, like on full power, and with not too much weight on the back. If you add weight like shopping, you're gonna have to ride slower to get the same range. So if you ride really fast on level 5, you're gonna drain the battery much quicker, especially when you go up hills. I've been learning that hills really drain your battery. That's something to keep in mind. The flatter your route, the more range you will have, which kind of makes sense because it's the same thing on a regular bike. So the range is not bad. I would recommend, if you can afford, to go for the 18 amp hour battery on Yosepower. So this kit is from Yosepower. They are actually doing a Black Friday sale, so have a look at that if you're interested in getting this kit for like 5 or 10% off. Plus there's a discount code for people who are watching these videos. So I have a special discount code, the One Good Road, if you want to have a look at that. I'll leave links, I'll leave an iCard and leave links up down in the description below. Essentially the range, I would highly recommend, if you're a bit strapped for cash, get one of these kits first on discount, and then later on you can upgrade to have 2 batteries. I think 2 spare batteries is probably more practical than having one giant battery, but if you can, just try and get the biggest battery that you can afford, basically, for sure. especially if you're a heavy rider or you use if you put a lot of weight onto the bike, that will decrease your range, obviously. But I would say the value for money that you are getting from an e-bike kit like this is just fantastic. I can't recommend it enough, really. I've been able to do plenty of shopping. Actually, let's move on to my bike. So I will finish up with just on the mountain bike. We did adjust a few things. We've got a slightly different, but the nice thing is that everything's modular on this. So if you want, you could swap out the battery to a larger one, and you could change out the motor if you want to have something more powerful to go off-road. I have installed a slightly different throttle here. So here actually we've got a twist throttle. So that's just a custom thing I found on AliExpress. Sometimes they have accessories over on the Yosepower website. You can have a look at that. The only thing that I would say could be something you might want to maybe have a look at, keeping your original brakes if you can. So actually they sell special sensors, which I'll show on my other bike. These special sensors allow you to keep your original brakes, because the brakes that come in the kit are very basic and standard. They do the job, but I definitely feel if you can keep your original brake levers, definitely try to do that. You will enjoy the braking power of your original brakes. But these levers do the job if you're, just riding on standard roads. If you're going to do downhill mountain biking and stuff like that, you'll definitely want to have a look at the brake sensors and keep your old brakes. So just keep that in mind. That's what I've discovered. I'll just kind of show you the display real quick. Hi, this is Future Joe here. Just wanted to say a quick word about the display. Actually, on Yosepower's website, I've noticed that they are starting to maybe stock color displays on certain conversion kits, and I'm hoping if those ones go well and customers like those, that they might give that as an option over on the accessory page. So that's definitely something you want to have a look at, because the color display would be really cool. Basically, you'll be able to have other parameters, and maybe you'll be able to see battery percentage and stuff like that. Anyway, let's go back to the video and have a look at the display. So we turn it on by holding it down. I found that the speedometer is maybe off by like 1 or 2 kilometers sometimes compared to regular speeds that I've seen. But other than that, it's been fine, and it does the job. It definitely can go up to some really good speeds. You'd be really quite amazed how fast this bike can actually go on full power. With no pedal assist actually, which is quite incredible. And as you can see here, the odometer is reading 770. And it's really nice having it on a mountain bike for sure. There's definitely pros and cons to having this kit installed on a mountain bike versus having it installed on a road bike. Now, let's move on to my road bike, which I've been riding a little bit more frequently. Now, if I'm going to be doing some shopping's really, really good. When you put a bike trailer on the back, I will admit you might need to get a more powerful motor. But other than that, it's still really good. If you loading up, like, let's say 10 kilos of extra weight, like shopping, if you're putting, let's say 10 kilos of shopping in your bike panniers, then actually the bike will do just fine. You'll be able to do your 25k an hour speed limit, and it will be just fine. You can actually limit the speed on these if you want. So you have a bit of flexibility on that. But I've even been able to go out on a few dates on it. I've been riding through the rain, and I rode through some really heavy rain actually with this, and I rode at night with this, and it was fantastic. For me, riding at night when you're on a busy road and you want to just get home and it's pouring with rain, it is absolutely amazing. Make sure you've got some rain gear, obviously, but I find that to be just totally worth all the money, to be honest, being able to have that flexibility. So yeah, I find it does carry, if you carry up to 10 kilos of weight plus I'm a rider that weighs just around 60 kilos, so around under 60 kilos. I'll try and figure out what that is in pounds, because I know I have a US audience as well. I think it's around 120 or 130 pounds. I might be completely wrong on that, but I'll double check. That's how much I weigh, and I find it to be a breeze. I just really enjoy it. The only tricky part with this installation was trying to get the pedal sensor to fit on the cranks, because it's right now they haven't designed it to be for road bike. They've designed it to be for a mountain bike. So just keep that in mind. You will need to do some custom modifications to get your cadence sensor to fit. But once you get it on there, it's totally worth having. I fitted it with some zippy ties, as you can see here. I explain in my video actually about how to fit it, and it works really, really well. So the motor's good. I'm happy with I did have to adjust the tension in the spokes after about a month of use. So just keep that in mind. The tension in the spokes might need to be just tightened up a bit, but I tightened them myself, and it was just 1 or 2 spokes that were a little bit loose, and that's normal. If you're having a wheel sent to you all the way from China, you will need to tension your spokes a little bit. But honestly, apart from that, that's been great. So I've been riding it in the rain. The rain, it's been really good, actually. I've really been surprised. The only thing, again, is that my range on here is about like 40-ish, 42 kilometers. So with 2 batteries, you can do like 80k of range. Plus, I carried a bunch of stuff on the bike, so just keep that in mind. I took the battery off the mountain bike and I took it with me. So I had 2 13 amp hour batteries with me. And that made all the difference. So I was able to ride there and back on full power. That way I could get home, and I was able to get back in like about an hour and a half. 40-ish, 42 kilometers. Yeah, Future Joe here again. I just want to explain really clearly that the range is actually pretty decent. I would say on my bike, if I don't have any weight on the bike, I can do easily around 50k, even on full power. But as soon as I add weight onto the bike, definitely drops its range, maybe like just a little bit less than 50k. And then if you're going for a ride which is like more than 40 kilometers away, just take the second battery or take another battery with you, and then you've got that peace of mind that you've got 2 batteries with you, giving you, well, I was able to do 84k total. So that's just my experience. I mean, everybody's going to be a little bit different, but I would say it's like 40 to 50k for each battery. And then for your distance, if you took 2, you'd be able to do about 80 to maybe 100k, depending on how much weight you have on the bike. I've also got an added light. This is a light from Gassiron. I've done like a little review on that if you want to have a look at that. And it's worked really, really well with keeping me being able to ride at night. And then if we look at the brake levers, I have had to stick on some sensors. So you've got a magnet sensor here, and occasionally I've had to re-stick it with some glue because I've been trying to find different epoxies, experimenting with different epoxies to stick this to the brake lever. Now this is custom done because on a road bike, this doesn't currently exist. They don't make brake levers for e-bikes. You have to custom make your own brake lever for a road bike, but it does work. You can do it. So you put the magnet sensor here. This is a custom magnet, and then you have the magnet sensor there. I've hidden it under the bar, the hood lever, sorry, cover. And there you go, I've got my brake lever. Real quick, just wanted to also mention that the reason why you have a brake sensor like this is actually it's a kill switch, so that when you press both of the brakes at the same time, it disengages the motor. It's a safety system, right? So that's why you have this on your brake lever. But just keep in mind that you want to make sure it's stuck really, really securely to that brake lever. I also have made my own custom fitting underneath here. So I've got my display here, the odometer on here. Okay, so I've got 40 volts, and there we go. So I've got 1,154 registered on there, kilometers. Strange thing I've been learning about with these batteries is that when they're fully charged, they're at 42 volts, and when they're completely depleted, I think they go all the way down to like, they have a low voltage protection up to 31 volts. I've ridden mine, I think, to about 34.6, maybe 34.8, and it was fine, no issues. You just recharge it and it's fine. And obviously just try to keep the voltage fairly, like, you know, above 34, I would say. And then you can get some really good range. I would say the power is really strong at 40 volts and above, and then when you drop below 40 volts, it kind of loses a little bit of its power, maybe like 15% of its power in terms of like its torque, but it still carries you, obviously, and it still carries the weight. So you've got different settings on there, and it works quite well. If you're interested in having a look at these kits, I'll leave some links down below where you can have a look at these kits. They're on offer right now, and you can use my coupon code for this Black Friday sale. I might have another sale going on possibly in December for Christmas. They might have another sale going on. But that is my review, I would say. This is a long-term review on these 2 bikes. If you have any other questions about these e-bike kits and installation and stuff like that, leave them down in the comments below. I've got links for the European and the UK store, and any affiliate links that you click and you think about purchasing one of these kits, you're actually supporting the channel, so that's really, really helpful. Thank you for that. And that's about it. So I'm loving these kits. I highly recommend them for the money. They're excellent value for money. So thanks for watching, like, subscribe, and I will see you in another video.